BCom and BSc, the LLB exam may start. So until then,
Yes.
we have decided to run the online lecture series, uh, thinking about the students, like it will be a revision for them, and it will be easier for them to appear in the end semester examination. So a great thank you to IQS team also for organizing such during the time of pandemic. And today we have the privilege to hear from a person who has been working uh, in this particular field related to accountancy. So you have a hand-on experience, and you have much more experience than what our college teachers has in this particular subject matter. So, sir, I take the privilege of introducing you before the students. Dr. Binod
Yes, go ahead.
Chandra Sorgayari
Namaskar.
at present is working as an assistant professor in Commerce College, Kokrajhar, and prior to that, he worked as a librarian for 10 years in Diet College, Kokrajhar, and also as an assistant professor for 2 years in BH College, Howley, in the Department of Accountancy. And he has a qualification of MCom, Bachelor in Library Science, B.Ed from Guwahati University, and PhD from Bodoland University. Sir has several publications, both in national and international journals, with a recognition of ISSN, which was published uh, under the title of A Trend Analysis of Financial and Operational Performance of the Netfee Limited, and an effective instrument for women empowerment, uh, topic microfinance scheme of Netfee. So several articles written by Sir have been published in both national and international journal. So we are privileged to have you among us, sir. And I hope the LLB fifth semester students and the
Thank you.
participants will be able to achieve the most from your deliberation. So I welcome you, sir. Now the
Thank
platform
you.
is all yours.
Mm,
We can start, sir. We can
mm.
start. Sir, and I'm also recording your
Okay.
session, sir. I hope you don't mind.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, madam, for more warm welcome. Good afternoon to all the respected principals and the respected teachers and non-teachers who are present here, and my dear students of the fifth semester, and also, as mentioned, madam, the none other semesters. So many thanks to organizer giving me to be here with you to make a lecture on taxation law. Okay, now we'll go ahead the on the topic, huh? Taxation law. Hello, taxation law. Hello,
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
am I
Yes, sir. We are
audible?
hearing,
Am I
sir.
audible?
Ah, yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes.
Taxation law. How many students of the fifth semester are present? Almost
Most are from fifth semester only, sir. Most of them.
fifth
Only
fifth
addition.
semester, na? Okay.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, taxation law. Take Taxation law is the part of the fifth semester under the Guwahati University, and this taxation law includes both the direct tax and indirect tax. The paper direct taxation law is not too easy, but very interesting. The students of commerce who completed their BCom and the students who are from arts, economics major group, or having the finance paper, they know about the taxation. tax law, tax principle. Anyway, as per your syllabus, there are first taxation, and then thereafter classification of tax, direct tax, indirect tax, then principle of taxation or canon of taxation, requirement of good tax system, then cost benefit principle, service benefit principle, single tax, multiple tax, advantages and disadvantages. Then as a part of indirect tax, GST, and then for the direct taxes, income tax are the part of the fifth semester. So in taxation law, we will discuss today what is tax, types of taxes, direct tax, indirect taxes, position of direct tax before GST, how it was, how this word worked, intrastate supply and interstate supply, tax on tax, double taxation, input tax credit, GST, articles which are empower both central government and the state government to levy taxes on goods and services, GST Council, their functions, how it is formed, then GST, Goods and Services Tax Network, then Goods and Services Tax Compensation to State Act, as the large amount of the indirect taxes are integrated within the GST, so the state have fear to minimize their revenue collection due to inclusion in the GST of indirect taxes. That is why the central government amended and passed a bill of Goods and Services Tax Compensation to States Act 2017. Then examples how GST works. Tax. Governments generally require huge amount of revenue fund for security of the nation, maintenance of law and order, construction of infrastructure facilities, various welfare schemes, health and education, construction of highway, education. So many welfare schemes are there in the country which are the central government have to meet the expenditure. That is why the large number of revenues are required for central government. That is why the central government bound to impose the taxes on the persons and entity. So these taxes are imposed on individuals and entity on their income and the property, wealth tax, etc. Now, what is tax? Tax is nothing but the financial charges or other levies imposed on the individuals or legal entity by government. This is a compulsory contribution or payment levied on the persons or the company to meet the expenditure incurred on conferring common benefit upon the people of the country. The common works done by central government is construction of park, construction of road, hospital, securities, defense, social welfare schemes, etc., etc. Therefore, we can say that it is an imposition of compulsory levies on individuals or entities by government. Taxes are levied in almost every country of the world, primarily to raise revenue for government expenditure, to meet the government expenditures. In this way, the government collect the taxes on the basis of direct tax and indirect tax. So then direct taxes are the taxes which are charged directly on person or legal entity directly, which are personally the person have to pay the taxes from his own pocket. And under the direct tax, the burden of direct tax cannot be shifted to the another persons. It is progressive in nature. That is high tax rate for people having higher income and low tax rates for lower income, or maybe no direct tax. For example, income tax, corporate tax, wealth tax, gift tax are the examples of direct taxes. So direct tax is the what? It's also called ability to pay principle like. This is progressive. If the income of a person is become higher and higher, then the tax slabs also become higher and higher. So the entity who earn more income, they have to pay more taxes to the government. Then indirect taxes. We know from the very beginning, from the childhood, whatever the topi a child had, from that time, people are paying the taxes. When we consume toffee, other chocolates, Kit Kat, whatever it may be, from that time, the people are going to be paid the taxes. The indirect taxes generally charged on goods and services. Goods and services consumed and received. The burden of taxes or incidence of taxes can be shifted to another person. It should be noted that indirect taxes are ultimately borne by final customers, whether rich or poor. It has wider tax base and contribute more than 50% of the revenue to the government. It is regressive in nature. Same tax rate for all. Another feature of indirect tax is that it increases the prices of commodity, services, and leads to inflation. So, incidence of indirect tax is borne by the final consumer, as it is imposed on the goods and services consumed and received. It is regressive in nature. That means poorer also have to borne equal amount of tax depending on the amount of consumption. So indirect tax is contributing more than the direct taxes to the exchequer of the government of India. Now I want to proceed. Indirect taxes before GST. Before GST, but this is not the exact syllabus part. This is not the part of the syllabus, I think, but it is required to know about the imposition of or implementation of GST. That is why I am giving here the position of indirect taxes before GST.
Okay,
GST was introduced in 2017 with the aim to consolidate and simplify the indirect taxes into one single tax, that is GST, one nation, one tax. All over India, there is only one tax and same rate everywhere in India. Earlier in Assam, we've seen the packet of Assam is different MRP list. If you go to Bengal, then there is 100 rupees packet, and in Assam there is a separate packet for Assam, 105 rupees, 120 rupees, like that. But now this system has been abolished after the introduction of the GST, goods and services tax. Earlier, there are many indirect taxes, excise duty levied on manufacturing of goods. Whatever the manufacturer, even whatever we use the notebook, this also considered as a manufacturing. So on this also, whatever we have seen around us, all these are manufactured. On all this manufacturing, the central government imposed the excise duty. Then custom duty, imposed on the custom duty on import and export of goods to control the price, to safeguard the regional industries. Value-added tax imposed by the state on intra-state sale tax. When intra-sale within the state, Kokrajhar to Bongaigaon, within the Kokrajhar, two persons are selling. One shopkeeper, Sopon Roy, is selling to the Vikas Busumutari at Kokrajhar. This is intra-state sale. That is why on this sale, on this supply of goods, there was what? Value-added tax. Then central sale tax. This is CST. This is imposed by the central government but collected by the state government. Central sale tax was imposed by central government but collected by the state government, and it is for interstate transaction or interstate supply of goods from Assam to Meghalaya, Assam to Arunachal, Assam to Manipur, and supply of services. The service provides supply to the other states. Then service tax on supply of services. Then entertainment tax. This is local tax, entertainment tax. Then intrastate supply and interstate supply. Intrastate supply means the supply of goods and services within the state. For example, Guwahati to Kokrajhar, Kokrajhar to Guwahati, Kokrajhar to Bongaigaon, within the Kokrajhar, Titaguri to Main Bazar. Interstate supply. Interstate supply is nothing but the supply of goods and services from one state to another states. Assam to Meghalaya example, Assam to Arunachal Pradesh, all this. For this intrastate supply, the present GST is different, tax is different. And for interstate supply, there is a five taxation system mechanism now in India. This is states, SGST, SGST, state goods and services tax, central goods and services tax, integrated goods and services tax, and union territory UT GST. Let us understand the position of indirect taxes before GST with examples. Suppose Mr. A manufactures component of air conditioner with the cost of 5,000, added 1,000 as his profits, and then become total cost 6,000. Now he wants to sell the same to Mr. B. Say excise duty is payable rupees 12.5 and on sale VAT or CST central sale tax was levied, will be levied. Then VAT, if it is intrastate sale, then there will be VAT, and if there is an interstate sale, there will be CST, central sale tax. In case of intrastate, VAT, and in case of interstate, there will be CST. The particular assessable value, cost and profit, 6,000. Now excise duty payable to central government, 12.5%, total 7.50. Sell price 6,750 total price. Then VAT added 5% on 6,000, and 5% on excise duty, 338. Invoice amount, total invoice price 7,888. Now here you see the VAT is not here. First excise duty is levied, and then whole amount VAT is charged. That means VAT is charged on accessible value and on excise duty of 750, tax on tax. This is known as tax on tax. When the government imposed tax on tax, this is also known as double taxation. Whatever excise duty 750, only 750, 338 VAT is imposed. That is tax on tax or double taxation. Now, input tax credit. In above example, Mr. B purchased a component of AC to manufacturer an air conditioner. Now Mr. B paid for component 6,000, excise duty 750, VAT 338. The tax paid on raw materials will be allowed to be adjusted from the tax collected on sale of finished goods by Mr. B. As for example, I am giving a B. Tax paid on raw materials are adjustable. This concept is called input tax credit, taking credit of tax on input raw materials. Now here 750 and 338 excise duty and VAT is paid by the B to Mr. A, and the Mr. A will deposit all these. And as the Mr. B is manufacturing an air conditioner, That is why he will add his profit. Mr. B has paid 750 excise duties and 338 VAT to Mr. A, and Mr. A will deposit the same to the respective government. Now Mr. B collected 100 excise duty. That means the price of the manufacturing increases 100 rupees. Duty and 450 VAT from his customer. However, he will pay as follows. That means the price of the total price of commodity was how much? 6,000, and along with this 6,000, Mr. B added profit of rupees 1,000. That is why the excise duty on 12% become 1,000. And what if are already paid by the Mr. B excise duty on raw materials to Mr. A? These are to be deducted from the 1,000 rupees excise duty collected from the new customer, say C. Excise duty to be paid to central government by B will be how much? 250 only, not 1,000. Already 750 is paid to Mr. A, and Mr. A will deposit, and this is known as tax credit. This is known as cash credit. 750 is cash credited, used for payment in the excise duty. Then output tax, output VAT on finished goods 450. Then already paid input VAT to raw materials to A 338 will be deducted from the total VAT of finished goods. That is 112 are to be paid by the Mr. B to the government. Rupees 750 on excise duty and 338 on VAT is called input tax credit. In this way, government has collected tax on value added by its party. That is total excise duty to central government becomes 750 plus 250, total 1,000. Total VAT to state government 338 plus 112 equal to 450. Now, note that in this example, tax paid was allowed to the adjusted, but it was interstate sale by Mr. A to Mr. B. Then, in that case, instead of VAT, there will be central sale tax would be levied, and central sale tax cannot be adjusted from VAT payable. This is called cascading effect. If the supply of goods is interstate, then there will be no VAT. There will be CST, and the CST is not to be adjusted with the value of VAT. All this is cascading effect. The tax which cannot be adjusted will become part of the cost of the raw materials. Also, there are other limitations in older indirect tax system, but since now it is replaced by GST, hence we will only focus on the current tax system of GST. Now, GST, introduction of GST. 101st constitutional amendment was done in 2016 to integrate excise duty, service tax, VAT, and other state-specific taxes in India. Now there are so many articles of the Indian constitutions are amended to provide a power to state government and central government to make a law on GST implementation. Article 246A, Parliament will have power to make laws on GST imposed by union and the state legislature, will have power to make laws with respect to GST imposed by state. This means there is a dual GST system. This is dual mechanism. This is known as dual system. That means on tax. That means both central government and state government can levy or can make a law on GST under the Article 246A subclause 1. It is known as dual GST system. Both center will impose central goods and services tax, and the state government will impose state goods and services tax. Article 264A subclause 2, for interstate supply, Parliament has the right to make laws, integrated goods and services tax, that is IGST, integrated goods and services tax, where the goods and services are supplied from one state to another state, then IGST tax is imposed by the central government. Article 254, in case of inconsistency between laws made by Parliament and the laws made by the state legislature, law made by Parliament shall prevail. That means if there is any controversy, disagreement between the state law and the central government law, in the implementation of GST, then the law made by the Parliament will be prevail. Article 366 and subclause 12A. There are some products, commodities, which are not included within the GST. These are alcoholic liquor for human consumption, kept outside the purview of GST. And state government can impose state excise and VAT, value-added tax, on the consumption of the alcohol. It is not included in the GST because the consumption of the alcohol is different in the different states. That is why state has been empowered to levy all indirect tax laws on alcoholic liquor for human consumptions. Other than this, Article 279A clause 5 states that the GST are not applied in case of natural gas, high-speed diesel, motor spirit, petrol, aviation turbine fuel, petroleum crude. In this product, all indirect tax law will be implemented by both central and state government as per their preference. Diesel, high-speed diesel, petrol, since this is not within the purview of the GST, that is why there is a high price. Both central government imposes excise duty and state government imposes VAT. That is why high price in the petrol and diesel and other petroleum crude which are outside the purview of the GST. Excise duty will be charged by central government and the state tax will be charged state government on these items. And on tobacco and tobacco products, excise duty will also be levied. The other articles of our constitution states the following, that Article 265 gives power to the government to levy tax. Tax can be levied only by authority of law. That is by making law, by making act. Article 246, both central and state government have, that Article 246 of Indian Constitution provide both central and state government have authority to make laws on GST. Article 245, Parliament can make law applicable for whole or any part of India, and state government can make law applicable for whole or any part of the own states. So all these articles are giving the power to the state government and central government to make law for the implementation, execution of the GST Act. What is GST Council? What is GST Council? It is explained in Article 279A. A GST is a constitutional body constituted by the President of India with 33 members. Here, the Finance Minister is the chairman for the GST Council, along with the members of Finance Minister of each states and union territories. There are 33 members. The Finance Minister of Union, Nirmala Sitharaman is the chairman of GST Council, along with the Finance Minister of the states and union territories are the member of GST Council. The main function of the GST Council is to recommend on the important issues regarding the GST, on rates, exemption, threshold limit, dispute resolution, etc., etc. Tax rate, the tax rate should be minimized, extended, high, etc. Exemption, this goods is basic item, so this should be exempted. All these decisions are to be taken in the GST Council meeting, not by the central government, not by the state government, only and only in the GST Council meeting. Threshold limit, how much, what is the turnover, what should be the turnover? Threshold limit means maximum turnover of a state. In our state, Assam, maximum threshold turnover is 10 lakhs. Earlier it was 20 lakhs. Now I think it is 10 lakhs. In other state, but this is 20 lakhs. Threshold limit should be extended, should be increased, or make an equal, etc. And dispute, whatever it may be. And for any decision to be taken, at least 75% voting should be done in its favor. In its favor means on decision. Whatever decision taken, on this decision, there should be 75% vote. In voting, central government have 33.30% weightage in total votes, and all other states have 66.67 weightage of the total votes to be casted for making decision. Further, whatever decision, if biddings are to be taken in the GST Council, there is a weightage of vote central government 75, central government 33%, then 66.67 is weightage from state government, state ministers, finance ministers. Then why there is a veto? The central government, union government have a veto until and unless no decision is taken without the consent of the union government. No decision can be sent or made without the consent or decision of the central government. Now, what is Goods and Services Network? GSTN. It is a non-profit organization registered under the Companies Act 2013, Section 8 as a private limited company. It was formed to provide IT infrastructure to the government relating to GST, like registration, filing of returns, matching the tax payment details with bank network, providing management MIS system, management information system, report to central and state government, computation and settlement of IGST, integrated GST, along with central and state government, running matching engine at backend to match input tax credit. IGST, there is a IGST required many settlement. As IGST, when there is a interstate transfer of goods, then IGST should be deposited by the taxpayer to the central government. And after that, IGST actually include SGST 50%, then CGST 50%. But this cannot be separated without depositing to the central government. After that, the central government will distribute on the proportional basis on their revenue proportion. As per GST Council, GSTN, Goods and Services Network, will now be converted into a government company as per GST Council decision. Now, Goods and Services Tax Compensation to State Act. Why this is required? Compensation Act. As we have, there is a father and son. So many sons are there, sons and daughters. Like everybody required, every sons and daughters required, we are going to separate. I need this one. So the central government. And what if the tax they have collected from their own states after the GST Council, after the GST implementation of GST, they fear, the state government fear losing of revenue because sorry, because because the state is fear for losing the revenue. Many indirect taxes are integrated within the GST, so they fear. For that, the central government to make and ensure all the states the GST Goods and Services Tax Compensation to State Act has been passed. And in this bill, the central government ensured to compensate loss in revenue which individual states have earned in the year 2015-16. Also, central government ensured 14% growth rate in revenue to states to 5 years. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So up to 21, the central government will provide 5 years up to 14% of the revenue to the state government. Now, for compensation, the central government imposes. Then what is cess? Cess is nothing but the additional tax on tax. Cess, additional tax on tax. Whatever the amount of net payable tax on this source is known as cess. To compensate the state on some commodities, GST compensations cess is also imposed. These are on cigarette, cigar, hookah, pan masala, tobacco product, eroded water, lignite, coal, motor vehicle of compensation. Rate of compensation says is 1% on small cars, 3% on mid-sized cars, and 22% on luxury car, motorcycle having 350 cc, more than 350 cc, 3% says. The unutilized fund. That means whatever the cess collected by the central government, if it is not utilized, then at the end of the 5 years, this amount is distributed among the central government, the state government. 50% to central government and other 50% is to all the states. Now, benefit of GST: creating India as a unified national market, mitigating ill effects of cascading, elimination of multiple taxes and double taxation, boost to make in India, as the Prime Minister is making, make in India, like this. After imposing the GST, the India is going to be make in India, widening the tax base and improving taxpayers' compliance. Let's understand about GST. What is GST? GST, Goods and Services Tax, is a destination-based tax applicable to whole India. Section 1 of GST Act 2017. The state or union territory where consumption of goods or services takes place will get the revenue of GST. That means destination-based means the goods is supplied from Assam. So in Assam, if the goods supply is within the state, then there will be one is CGST, another is SGST. CGST will get central government, SGST will get by state government. And if it is interstate sense from Assam to Meghalaya, Assam is the what? Destination. Assam sent to Meghalaya. In that case, there will be only IGST, Integrated Goods and Services Tax. And in this IGST, both CGST and SGST included, and the equal percentage, then 50-50%. India has adopted dual GST structure. GST is imposed by both state and central government and state government. That is why dual structure. Central government levy CGST on value of intrastate supply at the rate not exceeding 20% paid by the taxable person of CGST Act 2017, and state government levy SGST on intrastate supply. Section 9 is the charging section of Central goods and services tax. There are two union territory, Delhi and Puducherry, which have legislative power. They also get they can also impose the CGST, SGST if the supply of goods is made by them, as they have legislation. This is Delhi and Puducherry. Other union territory, Andaman Nicobar Island, Lakshadweep, Dadar and Nagar Haveli, Daman Diu, and Chandigarh, the union territory will charge UTGST, Union Territory Goods and Services Tax, UTGST, on intrastate supply. If there is a interstate supply, then there will be IGST, Integrated Goods and Services Tax. IGST should be levied on value of interstate supply. Rate decided by the GST Council, collected by the central government from taxable person of IGST Act 2017. IGST rate is what? CGST plus SGST, 50-50. Central Goods and Services Tax plus State Goods and Services Tax, 50-100. Intrastate supply means supply within the state or same union territory or same state. Intrastate supply of goods section, intrastate supply of goods are imposed tax under section A subsection 1 of CGST Act 2017. The following supply of goods are not treated as intrastate supply of service. Goods, access of goods to by special economic zone units or special economic zone developer. Goods imported into territory of India until they cross custom frontiers of India. Custom frontier means custom station. Special economic zones and special economic zone which aims to export goods. So supply to special economic zone is treated as export and therefore it will not be regarded as intrastate supply. That means within the special economic zone, the supply of goods and services are not considered intrastate. It is considered interstate supply, because within this there is a export and import of the goods. IGST is collected by central government and is a portion between center and the state government. Now, examples how the GSTs are work. Mr. A, Guwahati. From Guwahati, Mr. A, Assam, this is sell goods worth ₹20,000 to Mr. B, Kokrajhar, Assam. Mr. B then adds 5,000 profits and sell the same to Mr. C, Bongaigaon, Assam. Here, 20,000 Mr. A sell to B and Mr. B added profit of 5,000, total cost 25,000. And he sell to Mr. C, Bongaigaon, Assam. GST rate will be what? Suppose say GST rate is 18%, then central goods and services tax will be 9% and state goods and services tax will be 9%, total 18%.
Sir, please repeat the example.
Yeah.
Repeat the illustration, sir.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Please repeat the illustration. Mr. A from Guwahati.
Mr. A, suppose he is the dealer, sell goods worth ₹20,000 to Mr. B. Suppose B belongs to Kokrajhar. He purchased from Guwahati. Mr. B then add 5,000 profits. Add 5,000 profit means along with 20,000, he added 5,000 to 25. There will be 25,000. And sell the same to Mr. C, Bongaigaon. That means C belongs to Bongaigaon. He sell to Bongaigaon. And there will be GST rate is, suppose say GST rate is 18%. Then there will be what? CGST will be 9% and the SGST will be 9%. You see in the next slide. Yeah. Supply of goods by Mr. A to Mr. B. This is suppose intrastate supply as Guwahati to Kokrajhar. Mr. A is to Guwahati, Mr. B is at Kokrajhar. Particular, suppose value of supply of goods and services 20,000. Then at CGST 9%, that is 1,800. At SGST 9%, 1,800. Total price charge from B 23,600. So A gets how much? 23,600 from B. Now the responsibility of A is that A will now deposit the CGST, Central Goods and Services Tax, to central government. How much? 1,800, 1,800. And for the state government, there will be how much? 1,800. This will be given deposited by Mr. A and it is taken from Mr. B. Then next, Mr. B added rupees 5,000 as a profit along with the cost. Now value of the supply of goods by Mr. B to Mr. C intra. This is also as Mr. C belongs to Bongaigaon. This is also intra-state supply. Value of supply of goods services including what? 25,000. That is 20,000 plus profit of 5,000, total 25,000. At CGST 9%, 2,250, and at sell states goods and services tax 2,250. Total price of Mr. C is 29,500. Now the responsibility of B to deposit the tax. Whatever CGST collected on SGST collected. Here you see. Now Mr. B will deposit the tax as follows. Particulars. CGST payable. How much? 2,250. Already paid CGST rupees 1,800 to Mr. A.
Yes.
Already paid. This is 1,800 paid to Mr. A. When B purchased from A, how much? 1,800.
1,800.
1,800.
1,800.
1,800 already paid. This to be deducted from the present payable by the B. This is which is charged from the Mr. C. 2,250 is charged from Mr. C. Yes or not? Here you see. Mr. B is charged from Mr. C. How much? CGST 2,250. Now his duty is to deposit the Central Goods and Services Tax to central government. This is 2,250 minus already paid to A, which are already deposited by A, 18,000. Now CGST payable to central government by B is only 450. This is known as ITC. This is ITC. Input tax credit. This is known as input tax credit. Already tax is paid to first person, that is Mr. A, and Mr. A deposited to the central government. And now he added the cost price, the profit added, and sell to Mr. C. And CGST become how much? 9%. There will be 9%, 2,250, and less already paid for raw material. This is This is to be considered as input cost. Input. Then CGST payable to central government will be 450 only. Then VAT. In case of VAT, as it is an intrastate transaction, there will be VAT. VAT collection for the state. SGST payable 2,200. 2,200. Now here you see 2,200 SGST payable by B, 2,200. But he already paid to Mr. A how much? SGST 1,800. 1,800. That is why the VAT amount of credit of SGST 1,800 are to be deducted from the present SGST payable. That is why SGST payable to state government by Mr. B is 450 only. Now here you see revenue earned by government. Central government 1,800 plus 450 equal to 250. Then state government 1,800 plus 450 equal to 250. Any doubt regarding input tax credit?
I am clear.
Input,
Sir, are you
input tax
have the slides ready with you, sir? Slide dong nama sir nang sir.
slide.
Oh, mani
Slide.
PPT banyak nama sara.
Oh, PPP slide dong. Lana akan bikin nama.
Share kalamna hagan na uno.
Hai mana ya?
Oh,
Bi mau horna kan lah.
oh, Milo.
Oh, Milo horna.
Oh, I understood, sir. I don't know about the students, but it is very interesting.
Now another one, we discussed intrastate transaction. Now interstate transaction, and within this we are discussing input tax credit. What is input tax credit? Input tax credit, ITC. Very important. Input tax credit, and you being a student must know the term ITC, input tax credit. Means already whatever paid to the first person, we are assuming 3 persons, A, B, C. A is the suppose dealer, B is suppose retailer, C is the consumer, customer. So in this channel, first person, second person paid to first person first tax on raw material, and third person pays to second person as a final consumption, and there is also tax. Within this tax, whatever already paid, this is whatever already paid, and it is to be considered as input raw material cost or input cost. That is why this is input tax credit. Whatever already paid, these are not to be again repeatedly paid to the state or central government. Now, if the transaction is interstate transaction, interstate supply from one state to another state, suppose the goods sold by, assume that above example B located in Meghalaya. Then goods sold by Mr. A to Mr. B, interstate supply. Particular value of supply of goods and services, say 20,000. There will be only IGST. IGST, suppose assumption there say 18%. This is 3,600. The total price charged from B will be 23,600. Mr. A will deposit IGST collected to the central government, and within this IGST 18%, there will be what? There are 50-50, SGST 50, CGST 50, total 100%. That means 50-50, 1,800 like this. Remember that one thing. Compensation. Here we are discussing about the compensation. Compensation or utilization of tax credit. SGST credit cannot be used to pay CGST. Remember, if the taxpayer have the credit of SGST, state goods and services tax, then he cannot compensate the payable of central goods and services tax. And on the other hand, if a taxpayer have credit of central goods and services tax already paid to first person, but this cannot be compensated or used for the payment of SGST, state goods and services tax. If there is a IGST, integrated goods and services tax credit, then it can be used for payment of what? IGST, CGST, and SGST. I think you are understood concept of, we have learned what? Input tax credit, ITC, input tax credit, double taxation, cascading effect, GST mechanism. GST mechanism. Have you understood GST mechanism?
No, sir.
GST mechanism. Here you see. GST mechanism. There are CGST, and SGST, then IUT, GST, then IGST. It is imposed, levied or imposed, when supply of goods and services within state or union territory. SGST also what? If the goods and services are supplied within the state or union territory. And SGST, in case of SGST, also, but in case of only two states, in case of two union territory, which are these? Delhi and Puducherry, having the legislative power. Yes? Hello?
Sir, yes.
Within the having the legislative power, then these taxes are imposed. This is mechanism, GST mechanism.
Yes.
And if goods are transferred interstate, then IGST is imposed. And in case of union territory, they will get UTGST.
TGST.
These two union territory will get what?
UTGST.
SGST and CGST. These two union territory, Delhi and Puducherry will come within these two, and UTGST other 5 union territories. Then IGST, when the goods and services are supplied made within between the states, then there will be IGST. And in case of special economic zone, special economic zone, the supply of goods are to be considered as interstate supply. So there also IGST. There will be IGST. There will be IGST. This is the mechanism. And how tax are to be paid? Tax and the tax rates are on the basis of the GST Council. Whatever the GST Council decide on this, the tax rate, there will be this type of tax rate. And there is also one more. What is GST Council? GST Council. What is GST? GST Council? How many members? There are 33 members. Constituted by whom? Constituted by the President of India. Constituted by the President of India. And Finance Minister herself is the what? Chairperson. And all finance ministers of the other states are member. And what is the voting power?
75%.
75% voting votes are required to pass a particular issues. And there 33.33% voting weight is from central government, and 66.67% voting weight is from state side, all states and union territory side. Then the recommendation or sense, threshold, limit, exemptions are to be passed within the GST Council. Other than this, the central government have a veto power. Until and unless the central government decision is not taken, then GST, whatever the decision is taken cannot be passed. So this is a separate veto power. And then articles, there are so many articles we have read now. Seven articles.
Sir, Samdan wants to say something.
Go ahead. Any question? No.
That is, sir, you have pointed out that from the east states of India, there will be a member who is
finance minister.
But as of now, we have only 29 states, no, sir? Now 33 members is included here.
33 members. There is a cabinet secretariat rank from the central government also. I am not telling this the members. The total 33 members, including secretariat.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any more participation? Any more question? Any doubt? Actually, I prepared another PP which are syllabus oriented. Already I prepared syllabus oriented. But I think this is online lecture, so I thought something sense.
Yes.
But I prepared for syllabus wise.
Yes.
Introductory chapter, then GST. There is a definition of GST, income tax. basic concept of income tax, computation of tax, etc., etc.
This is good, sir. This is good.
Huh.
Working of GST is more interesting,
Mm.
I think.
Here also GST, within the GST, most of items are not included. There are
Yes, yes.
basic concept definition are there. What is supply? What is integrated state? What is short supply? Then mm, turnover, turnover, threshold limit, sum up of the GST, etc., etc. And then IGST, CGST, SGST, how they work like this. Of course, I have given some extent of the how they are work and filing of return, how these are filed.
Yes, sir. Filing of return.
Filing of return. Then we have 10-15 minutes are there.
Sir, if you could tell us, like, for the filing of return, is there any maximum income slab for filing of income tax return?
Income tax filing of, I have not seen in your syllabus filing of income tax, but how to file in a GST, registration and GST, under GST. But in income tax section, I have not seen filing of
Okay.
return, but there is computation of basic concept of income tax. This is finance bill, what is income, what is SSC, who are said to be SSC, SSC in default, assessment year, previous year, all these concepts are required. And exempted incomes, and computation of salary, computation of house and income from house property, computation of profits and gains from business and profession, then capital gain, all these are seen in income tax syllabus. And then authority of taxation. Who are the authority? Appellate authorities and authority of taxation. These are seen in the income tax syllabus. And in GST part, first part is theoretical part. Theoretic is classification of tax, types of tax, then principle, canon of taxation, then requirement of good tax system, then benefit principle, then cost principle, modern principle of taxation, then impact incidence, shifting of burden of tax, impact incident. The students are, I think, students require impact incidence of taxes. Hello?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes,
Impact,
yes.
impact incidence of tax, impact
Yes,
incident and burden of shifting of tax. These are important also.
yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Then single tax, multiple tax, and advantage. There are merits and demerits of single tax and multiple tax. And then direct GST1. In GST1 there is a GST Council, GST and input tax credit mechanism, GST mechanisms are required, and a definition, conceptual definitions are required. 7, 8, 9, these definitions are required. There are 7, 8 terms are there. These are very much required for understanding the basic of the GST. Then third unit, third unit.
GST concept, CGST, SGST.
GST concept, na?
Yes. And filing of GST compensation.
Filing of GST, na?
Yeah.
Let me see. Teachers of Constitution Second Amendment, na? Goods and
Yes.
Services Tax Act 1, 2, definition, aggregate turnover, mixed supply, composite levy, GST compliance, compliance rating, advantage limitation of GST. Then Goods and Services Tax Act 2, Part 2, GST concept, CGST, SGST, UTGT, IGST, Goods and Services Network, GSTN, filing of GST, Compensation Act, compensation we discussed, State Goods and Services Act, State Goods and Services Tax, almost same, State Goods and Services Tax Act, 2017. Then income tax, under income tax, preliminary definition, basic charges of income tax, scope of total income not included in total income 100% export oriented. Then competition of total income, salary, income from capital gain, business, profession income, income from others, aggregate of income, carry forward of set of losses, income forming part of total income, income tax is payable, relief respect of tax, double tax relief specific as a special provision relating to income of non-resident and certain companies, income tax authorities appointment. Yes, so many voluminous chapter, voluminous na courses.
Yes.
And actually this income tax itself requires 6 months to finish the course.
Yes.
Whatever the contents are there, basic concept, finance bill, finance act. Any idea? Hello?
No, sir, no.
Finance bill, finance act. This is the basic preliminary.
Yes.
Then assessment year, financial year, total income, SSC, assessment year, previous year, person.
Sir, I think we would like to know the assessment year, difference between assessment year and financial year. And
Assessment year and financial year.
Yes. And what are
Financial
the
year.
incomes that are exempted from the purview of income tax?
Yeah.
Taxable
Assessment year,
income and non-taxable
assessment
income.
year and financial year.
Yes.
Financial year, 12-month period from starting from, as per commonly accepted by all, 1st April to 31st March of the next year is known as financial year. Whatever it may be, financial. This is financial. 12-month period. This is financial year. This may be current financial year, previous financial year, current financial year, previous financial year, or next financial year. Current financial year is financial year. Current is financial year, and previous financial year is the previous financial year, and the next financial year is the assessment year. Next year, you take three financial year. 1, 2, 3. Center is the current assessment year, and next is the assessment year, and the income earned of these current years are to be assessed next assessment year.
Current?
Next assessment year. You have to take 3. You see here.
Yes. Previous assessment year, current assessment year, and next assessment year.
Suppose 2021. 202122. Oh no. 202223. Here you see. Financial year of 2020-21 is gone.
Yes.
March. At March. And the income of this year is assessed in 2001, 2021, 22. Now this is the for this financial year. This is assessment year, and this is previous year. And for this year, this is current financial year, 2020, 21, 22. And the income earned by the persons or entities are assessed in this year, 2022 and 23. Here, 2023 is known as assessment year, and this is known as previous year. But as a whole, all these are known as financial year. If there is a 12-month period from 1st April to 31st March of the next year is known as financial year. Okay?
Yes.
Financial year. Then this is, and assessment year. In the assessment year, the income earned in the previous year are assessed for tax purposes. And the income earned in the current year is to be paid by the taxpayer in the next assessment year, next year. In case of salary, February to March.
Yes.
Not March to April to March, but
Yes.
February to March.
Okay, sir.
Then tomorrow in the same time, we'll discuss what? Income tax.
Yes, income tax.
Huh?
Yes, income tax.
Income tax, na? Okay, then
Okay, sir.
many thanks for listening and patiently listening here.
So we'll see you tomorrow once again
Okay.
at 12 p.m.